Well, I guess I better get going here. The title for the video for September 15th is Religion is a Method of Subtle Enslavement. Few people have been as devoted to spiritual principles of life as I have been for nearly 70 years. My life has been one of devotion and commitment to helping bring about the kingdom of heaven on earth. Not until the non-mortgaged home provided to me by my spiritual mother was stolen from me did I feel betrayed by the very one to whom I had dedicated my life. At this point, my commitment is to telling the truth, not some abstract philosophy, but experiential reality. I do not seek pie in the sky in some sweet by and by. If that kingdom of heaven is real, it must be made real in the here and now. We have had our birthright stolen, and as I see it, now is the time for us to claim it. Let go of religious ego-centricity and choose to start loving one another now, forgiving those who truly repent. That is the truth that will set us free. As I sit here now and near the end of a long day, in the respect that once I came back from the gym in the middle of the night, I was unable to get to sleep, and I've not gotten really any good sleep throughout the day, and Wednesdays are always my busiest day, so I am physically exhausted. And I know I had a lot of things going through my mind when I wrote this blurb this morning, but I had so much on my plate that I needed to get done that I didn't get it recorded, and I'm recording it now, late in the day, as I said, feeling exhausted. People have criticized me that somehow I've betrayed God. Let me get something straight. God, if God is God and omnipotent, how can he be betrayed by anyone telling the truth and bearing their soul, as I have been doing for a long, long time? It just doesn't make sense to me. If God is the type of a being that wants us to flatter him and say things that aren't true because that's what we think he wants to hear, then there's something very much wrong with God, and that's not a God that is God. That is a God made in a very substandard image, and not very nice image. As I've said in other videos, Lucifer is a liar from the beginning, and yet even the Bible calls him the God of this world. I don't know why that is. It doesn't make sense to me, why our Creator would allow such a thing. Now, earlier today, I watched part of a video, and I turned it off when this speaker says that humans are the one that messed up the earth. Like, it's our fault. The archons and these other beings messed with our DNA and limited us and took away the aspects that were built into us from the beginning, according to Anastasia and according to what I believe, how God created us perfect in the beginning. And we fell from grace. We fell from that because we bought into the lie. And whether it was eating of a forbidden fruit or something like that, somehow we were deceived and we were limited. And there's a whole lot of possibilities that go on here. And you know, as I'm sitting here right now speaking to the microphone, to the camera, I'm thinking, Ron, you're putting the blame always out there, always out there, always out there. If I had lived a life like many people do, in sin and debauchery and doing a whole bunch of wicked things all my life, then maybe I wouldn't feel so self-righteous. But I have really pretty much, I mean, not that I've been perfect. Please do not misunderstand me and think that I'm saying that somehow I've led a perfect life. That's not true. There have been some times that I've said things that weren't true, and I felt so guilty. I'd go back and I'd apologize for not being completely honest. I've even done that in times when it was very detrimental to me and would cast me in a bad light. But this has been something that I've practiced for a long time. I believe in telling the truth. The single most important element of a person's character is the willingness to tell their truth. Not truth as it applies to some principle or some religion or some philosophy, but truth as it applies to their own experience, to their own feelings, to their own thoughts, to their own being. And that's what I try to do. And I don't believe, in fact, ironically, I think God is blessing me in many ways now. Did I say this already in another video, or was it a conversation I had? 3 days in a row in the gym, I have had normal heart rate. When I say normal, I mean in the 70s. And even today, toward the end of my 10-minute exercise on the bicycle, it went down to 68, which surprised me. That's 68 beats per minute. Now, I haven't checked my blood pressure yet, but that's something that I do need to do. I have a feeling my blood pressure is coming in line too, and I attribute that to God providing healing blessings on me for being authentic, for being a genuine person, for not putting on airs and acting as if I'm some kind of a holy man. Now, you say, Ron, you just got through saying that you didn't do a lot of things wrong. True, I didn't. But it's not like I'm holier than thou, as I guess that's the concept that many of us have of a holy person, someone who acts sanctimonious, and I don't go along with that very much. I do my best not to put people down. If I'm going to put people down, I'm going to put people down for being self-righteous, because that's the trap that creates the bondage that the human race has been enslaved by for eons of time. And it's time that we wake up. It's time that something happens to bring things together. Now, interestingly, one of the things that I've been checking regularly for quite a while now is the revaluation of currency. And I'm told that it's supposed to happen. Well, I was told it was supposed to happen in July. And then, of course, it was August. And then, of course, it's before the end of the fiscal year in September. Well, the word that I just got earlier today was that now they're saying it has to happen before Election Day, which is by the beginning of, I don't know, Election Day, I think is what, the first Tuesday of, I think it's the first Tuesday of November. And I don't know what day that is. Like I said, do I have a calendar right here? So that would be November 8th. It would be Election Day in the United States. So who knows when this thing is going to happen? But I have friends that are going to help me when it does happen, supposedly. But we've been getting promises, and I mean, I said it was supposed to happen in July. Actually, it's supposed to happen in 2001, and that it was supposed to happen on the whole new system was supposed to be announced on September 11th, 2001. Well, we all know what happened on September 11th, 2001. That's when they lost some $1 trillion and not pretended to blow up, but blew up some buildings and supposedly airplanes hit them, but that's not true. Airplanes don't bring down buildings, never have, never will. Unless it's a very small, I mean, I'm talking about skyscrapers that are built, that are modern skyscrapers that are built by very strict standards. Anyway, religion, as I said in the title, is a method of subtle enslavement, and we need to get beyond our religion and just simply start loving one another and telling the truth. Because on those two principles, we can change the world. But until we employ those, the world will remain the same. Thank you for listening, and namaste.